Hey guys, I'm sitting here with my man J.R. Crowell. He's a good friend of mine that does a lot of home flips. That's kind of how I know J.R. Circle. He came in last week as a Gourmet Wednesday and was really explaining to me everything he's been working on and the new ventures that he's doing. And one that's not really a new venture is just repairing houses. He's always fixed houses for himself, flipping pretty much all your life, hadn't you, JR?
Been a long time. It's been a
Long
long
time.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he knows his way around the house, but now he's getting into home inspection repair lists. So when you get your home inspection done and you need an electrician and a plumber and a handyman to go in, and it kind of gets to be a headache for a real estate agent having to make those three calls, line those people up to do those repairs. But now we've got a one call. That's all. He's got plumbers, electricians, and Jay, I'll let you kind of talk about your crew because you pretty much have a crew on standby, ready to go.
Yeah, right. Appreciate that kind intro. I appreciate that. Yeah, we so as a flipper myself, I know what it can feel like to be the seller side of the equation, get the inspection back and have trouble getting those little bitty things done. And we know, man, if the deal doesn't get to the table, nobody's winning in that scenario. The agent aren't getting paid, I'm not getting paid, the buyer's not getting a new house. And so it's just you want that transaction to be smooth and you want it to be fun for everybody. It shouldn't be a pain, you know. And so we kind of got to looking around and said, man, we're doing all this stuff already on our own. We'd like to brand this out to the public, and it's got some other pieces to it. We'll get into it in a second. But the main reason we did it was for the little things that are on the inspection. There's never really a big item on there. It's always a bunch of little stuff, and some of those items they just say check. They may not even need to be really done. You just need somebody who can look at it and go, yes, you're good, or no, you're not. And you as agents, I'm not telling you anything. Y'all bear a lot of burden as it is. You're wearing a lot of hats in the process. And even though you can play the GC, I don't think you should have to. I think you should be able to make a call, let that disappear from your plate, and then
Yeah.
we'll all meet back up at the closing table when it's time to be done.
Heck
And
yeah.
so you brought it up. I'm a licensed builder, and I have another licensed builder on staff, and so we can build the house from the ground up. We just choose to focus on those little things that we feel like are a pretty big piece of the puzzle, whether it be at the end of the new construction project or what have you. You said it best one time, Ryan. You said that last 10%, that's the worst
Man,
one.
it's tough. That's what's going to make, in my opinion, a great flipper, or somebody that can just get by, is that last 10%. That's going to get your market time. Everything is that last 10%. It's the
Hmm.
hardest. So with those home inspections, I know they're usually 80 pages long. And if an agent has a project for you, is it best just to send that whole home inspection over?
There's two ways we'll run this, and this is kind of we've really tried to perfect the communication, and we're trying with each inspection perfecting the communication between agent and us and where we're at in the process. Because generally, when you get that inspection back, either one or two things are about to happen. You're either going to need to renegotiate something, right? Whichever side you're on. Hey, there's some repairs here. We've got to renegotiate it, or we already know we want these 10 things. Seller has agreed. Yep, these are the 10 things we'll take care of, buyer or whatever. Y'all have agreed to your list, your addendum, and then you're ready to move forward. And so usually, if you send me an inspection or say I got one for you to look at, we'll say, where are you at in the process? Are you still negotiating? Do you just need a ballpark figure, or are you really ready to get down to brass tacks? And if you just need a figure, we can usually whip that out in about 5 minutes. We can run through it real quick and say, well, if it's these things we see, it's going to be between 2 and 5 grand. Depending. There's a lot of if and then statements. And then if you say, here's the addendum, here's the 20 things we've agreed to, these have to be done, boom, we'll sit down and line item that quote out for you and send it back. Now, you notice in that we haven't come out to the house yet. We've kind of gotten you a number on paper to make sure everybody's good to go. And generally that second piece will require a phone call. Cause let's say, Ryan, that let's say there's a leak under a P trap, all right, under a sink. Cool, we can fix that, but we also know there may be some rotted wood under there that could be an issue, or there could be some moisture problems. So we always have a little tag on those that says, here's the middle of the road price. If it's any worse, it could be up to here, just to prep everybody. That way there's no surprises.
Right. I love it. I love it.
Yep.
So from there, once we get the home inspection to you and everything that we're going to fix, say if I'm representing Mr. Seller, uh, will you want that payment as soon as everything's done, or is this something that can come out of closing, or is every deal's different, or?
Yeah, we do it a couple of ways. Generally, we have a deposit up front that's due before we get started, depending on the dollar amount, and that's for two reasons. The main reason, though, is if the deal does fall apart, we've at
Mhm.
least got some skin in the game from somewhere, and
Gotcha.
so
Yeah.
we don't mind being paid out of escrow for the rest. That's fine too. We will have a clause in there though that says, hey, if the deal does fall apart, who's
Heck yeah.
taking ownership of this payment? But yeah, we don't
Right.
mind being paid the remainder out of escrow.
I love it. I love it. And so let's talk about, I know the other day we were talking in here, it was a great conversation about home maintenance. And
Mhm.
that's a big pet peeve of mine. And every real estate agent has their strengths. And I kind of feel like I'll walk around the house, I'll explain to a client, hey, this house is going to need their gutters cleaned at least 3 times a year, or here, this house might have this where this filter needs to be changed 3 or 4 times a year. You guys will do home maintenance as well, is that right?
Yeah, so we have a subscription component to our side of the business. So what we just talked about is, of course, inspection punch list, but we also will do if the general public wants to call and have us come out, we're branded to come out and just do a one-off repair, right? But one neat thing about our business that's disruptive, it's different, is the subscription component where we have clients that subscribe to a home maintenance package for the year. And inside of that package, we've tried to identify as best we can roughly 18 to 20 items on a home that need to be either maintained or inspected throughout the year. Some of those are annual items, some are every other month, some are just biannual, and some are every quarter, right? And those could be anything from, you mentioned it, cleaning the gutter, changing the HVAC filters, checking leaks up under your sinks, around drains, making sure those kind of things operate
And those
correctly.
darn outside light bulbs, those go out every 5 months. I tell you, now,
Yeah,
pain in the butt to change. You got to drag
yeah,
your ladder out. Yeah.
yeah, that's included in there. Yeah, and we're actually revamping our subscription. So depending on when this goes out, that'll be up March 1st. That'll be completely changed to what it's going to now. But part of that too is you get somebody in your home that's, we may only be touching 18 things, right? Which on a bigger house may not sound like a lot, but we're from one end of the house to the other throughout the
Yeah.
year, and so we're looking at the other things that we're not working on too. And so you kind of get that peace of mind with it
Yeah.
as a
Yeah.
component of that. And then
Yeah.
it gives you somebody trusted in your house where if you do have questions about bigger projects, you're already kind of in our web now where, okay, you need a deck rebuilt or you need a bathroom remodel. If we don't want to handle that because of the size of it, we'll open the book for you and say, here's the subs you should probably call. And if you want us to manage it, then great. We'd be happy to do that too.
Heck yeah, I love it. And that's so important because a home is your biggest investment that you will usually ever make. And to
Mm,
have an expert just crawl in your attic, once every few months, you never know
mhm.
what kind of repairs you're going to save on catching it early like that. I love it.
Sure. And inspection items too. We can never prevent red flags on an inspection. There's inspections for a reason, but you nailed it. One that comes to mind crawling through an attic is vent fans and exhaust fans are not all the time vented the way they should be. And of course, codes change over time too. And so having somebody once a year or just one time walk through and look and go, hey, when you get ready to sell, that's probably going to be a flag, just so you know. If you
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
go ahead and take care of it, we can. Same thing with the double tap neutrals and those type of items that are always on there. If we're watching home inspections all the time with agents, and then we have clients that are getting ready to sell, we can do kind of a pre-listing inspection and say, or pre-listing tune-up, right? And say, hey, these are the stuff they're going to call out. So yeah,
yeah,
just having that eye for the inspection is helpful.
yeah. I love it. So another item that you were talking about was exciting for real estate agents is like a handyman hours because
Mhm.
you can kind of ballpark a hourly rate without materials to do certain things on a house. I know as a real estate agent, I've closed a lot of deals to where somebody might call me after closing and say, Ryan, my dishwasher's not working. You know what? I haven't
Mhm.
bought you a gift yet. Let me pay for a dishwasher repairman to come over and take a look at that. Gifting handyman hours is such a cool concept that you and I talked about. Is something
Mm.
kind of new that y'all are getting into. That let's say at closing, and you want to give your client something, and they open up a coupon for you to come out and work at their house for 2 hours, just tightening
Yeah.
hinges. It could be anything, really.
Yeah. That's a great, yeah. And that's what's interesting about our model is that it kind of lends itself to be creative, and
Yeah,
agents are typically a creative bunch. And so it's been really fun to do these talks and these lunches to try to get new ideas. And that's where a lot of, maybe be honest, man, 80% of what we're doing now, we've tried to craft it around what we're hearing because you guys are talking to probably more of the public than we are on a daily basis. And so you kind of understand how that homeowner's thinking a little bit more. And we've been able to pick y'all's brains and go, yeah, this is a great thing. And so yeah, one being one of those ideas was gifting hours once the deal's done. Let's give them a couple hours, or one may be we've had folks do this for new homeowners, and sometimes it's been parents that have done this, and it's been agents. They've bought a maintenance walkthrough where we come out for about 2 hours with the new owners, and we take them all over the house as if we were going to be putting a subscription on that property. Because when you get a subscription from us, you get about a 2 or 2.5 hour walk at the very beginning where we're checking everything just to
yeah,
make sure it's at a maintainable level, right? Because if it's not, we got to get it to where we can maintain it.
yeah,
And so that's kind of neat with a first time home buyer. You can walk through there and go, here's the things you need to be checking out. By the way, here's a list that you can just put on your fridge and you can do it on your own. Or if you want us to do it, right, here's the package that we can help you out with. And then we've taken that maintenance package and we've chopped it up into these little mini packages, we call them, because not everybody wants maybe the full blown meal deal
right,
throughout the year. Maybe they're fully capable of doing these 15 items, but these other five they're just not comfortable with. That's cool. Let's carve that out and create that thing for you.
love it.
We've seen agents or we've seen sellers maybe buy a subscription for a buyer instead of doing some things on the punch list. Like, hey, it looks like all this fits in with some of
Mhm.
what they're doing. What if we just bought this for you? We went on about our closing, and then you can deal with that after the fact once you get moved in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
And a lot of
creativity.
that little stuff, it sounds little, and a lot of that stuff is little, but unless you know what you're doing, I've broken. I'm not gonna stretch it. I've broken quite a few toilets, tightening them down because
Sure.
they needed a wax ring or something, or they needed to be
Hmm.
leveled out under it. So a lot of that stuff you really do. There's a reason people want licensed plumbers and things like that because home maintenance has got to be done right. If not, it's gonna pop its ugly head later, and it's usually gonna cost money.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I think that what's interesting, we talked about this the other day, for agents with an inspection list, it's time consuming to call 4 or 5 different
mhm,
subs to check that list. And it's
yeah,
expensive. If they all charge a trip fee, it can get kind of
yeah,
high. And if they're not charging a trip fee, it, are they doing the maintenance walkthrough like you want them to check that pay? Sorry, it's kind of a chicken or egg there, right? Should you get the free
right,
estimate or not? But with us, we have either licensed or within my web on a daily basis working on our houses, either mine or some that we're doing for others. We've got every trade at our
yeah,
fingertips. And so when you send that inspection, I can very quickly text a picture to our plumber that's already working for us today or the electrician or whatever, and just verify some stuff if it gets out of our scope. And then you've
right.
got a nice, pretty picture coming back to you.
Yeah, I love it. JR, I've got your information. Steady Home Maintenance is the name of the company over in our office website. Is there anything you want to tell our guys and girls before we cut this off?
Now, I would say check out our Facebook page too. That's got a pretty good depiction of types of projects that we like to do.
Right.
Um, on our website, there's also a form if you want to send over. That's the best way to send those inspection punch lists. So the thing I'll leave you with though is the more detail, the better. Uh,
Yeah.
the more you can tell us about that punch list, where you're at, what you need done, or if you say I hadn't looked this at all, tell me that too. That way I know you hadn't seen anything yet. We're just going to talk about it a little bit more. So
Yeah, I love it. I love it. All right, man. I appreciate it. And until I'm sure we'll have you back in the office in a few months and catch up with you. Excited to see everything that you guys are doing over there.
thank you, Ryan. I appreciate it.
Sir.